At number 10, Dolly Parton. We're covering some of the richest celebrities, so of course we have to start with one of the richest yet most wholesome and unapologetic people out there, Dolly freaking Parton. Dolly is a singer, songwriter, actress, businesswoman, philanthropist, and just all around amazing human being. She started from nothing and now she has her own freaking theme park. Dolly has a net worth of about $650 million, which isn't as much as other celebrities included on this list, but it's still quite substantial. With her riches, she's been able to do a lot for herself and others, but how did she manage to acquire this fortune? Well, other than her businesses, a lot of her money has no doubt come from her illustrious music career. Dolly has sold over 100 million albums, which already made her a lot of money, but because her music is so popular, she has also had people cover her songs, which have boosted her income. One of the most famous cases of this was Whitney Houston's cover of I Will Always Love You from the movie The Bodyguard in 1992. Just on that film alone, Dolly made $20 million in royalties. Dolly's song catalog is also worth at least $300 million, so that certainly adds to her riches as well. At number 9, Kylie Jenner. Now this list is ranked with the richest celebrity at number 1, so you might be surprised that Kylie Jenner is only sitting at number 9. Well, that's because she's not as rich as you might think. Though Miss Kylie is very wealthy, she isn't the billionaire that we were led to believe she was. Back in March 2019, Forbes magazine dubbed Kylie Jenner the world's youngest self-made billionaire. This caused quite a stir because people started debating whether or not she could actually call herself self-made, or if she was even actually a billionaire. While the self-made argument is still up for debate, the billionaire thing has been disproven. Turns out that Kylie's net worth is only about $700 million rather than the $1.2 billion that was previously published. Now don't get me wrong, that's still a lot of money, but not as much as was previously published. As we all no doubt know, the majority of her earnings have come from her Kylie Cosmetics and Kylie Skin brands, which are super successful, but she's also part of the Kardashian Jenner family and they're all rolling in the dough anyway. Before we carry on talking about more of the rich and famous people of Hollywood, why not take a quick moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, maybe consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Celine Dion. Now let's talk about this amazingly successful Canadian, Celine Dion. She makes Canada proud because of how successful she has become over the course of her career. With a net worth of about $800 million, you can certainly say that she's done well for herself. Celine has sold over 220 million albums worldwide, which has no doubt greatly contributed to her wealth and success, but another aspect of her career that has boosted her fortune has been her tours. Her most recent Courage tour sold out each of the 52 North American shows, and judging by the fact that Celine normally earns around $50 million in concert revenue, you can see why she's so successful. What definitely contributed to her boost in fame was her contribution to the 1997 film Titanic, where her song My Heart Will Go On became famous, but it also won her an Oscar. Between 2000 and 2010, Celine was the highest grossing entertainer in the world, and her shows around the world added to her great success. At number 7, Madonna. Moving on from one powerhouse female performer to another, next up let's talk about Madonna. Though she has had a questionable career as far as her scandals are concerned, that hasn't stopped her from becoming one of the richest celebrities out there. With a net worth of about $850 million, she's certainly as rich as they come. Madonna has been known to flex her riches by buying very expensive things, but there's no shame in that because she earned every cent of her wealth through hard work and a long career. Some of the most expensive things that she's been known to have purchased include pieces by artists including Picasso, Damien Hirst, Diego Rivera, and Marilyn Minter. Madonna also owns around $100 million worth of real estate around the globe. On top of her earnings through her music and her investments in real estate, Madonna also has earned a substantial amount of money through her various clothing, skincare, fragrance, and accessory lines. At number 6, J.K. Rowling. Now, although J.K. Rowling has become very controversial in the last little while, we do have to talk about her career and success because no matter what scandals she's been in, she's still very wealthy. How long is that going to last at this rate with people no longer supporting her is another topic for another day. Anyways, let's talk about how rich this author is. With the success of the Wizarding World franchise, J.K. Rowling has become one of the world's most successful celebrities with a net worth of around $1 billion. This all came from the success of the Harry Potter books, which has sold over 500 million copies worldwide, being published in different languages and loved by a large audience. With the success of the books, the series got incredibly successful film adaptations, as you no doubt know, and this also generated billions of dollars at the box office. Now JK is known to be quite private about her finances and has denied being a billionaire in the past, but the public has the facts and she's a lot richer than she claims to be. At number 5, Sir Paul McCartney. Now, you don't get to become a Sir for no reason, and Sir Paul McCartney has certainly proved that he is deserving of such a title. He's one of the most successful musicians in history and has a net worth of about $1.2 billion. Though he first got his success through the Beatles, who sold over 600 million albums worldwide, he was also able to boost his own success as a solo artist, having released countless successful hits and having sold out tours worldwide. In a year, Paul earns $50 to $70 million, with a lot of those earnings coming from royalties generated by his own songs and copyrights to thousands of others. Though a pretty big financial mistake was made when the publishing rights to the Beatles songs were sold, McCartney was certainly able to bounce back with his earnings from his solo career. With that in mind though, imagine how much richer he would be if he was still able to earn royalties from the Beatles songs as well. At number 4, Jay-Z. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the rap world and one of the artists who's dominated much of that side of the music industry. We're talking about rapper Jay-Z. Now he doesn't often flex his money as he's really not all that boastful, at least not compared to other artists like Kanye West, whom we will talk about later. It may surprise you that Jay-Z actually has a net worth of about $1.3 billion. Obviously the majority of his riches comes from his music career, but there are other factors that play into his large net worth. Jay-Z seems to be quite a savvy businessman and investor. He sold portions of his companies to big conglomerates for hundreds of millions of dollars. He also owns equity stakes in some of the world's biggest companies like SpaceX, Outly, Uber, Sweetgreen, and Ethos. And on top of that, when you combine the rapper's net worth with that of his wife, their total net worth approaches nearly $2 billion. Jay-Z and Beyonce also own hundreds of millions of dollars worth of art and real estate, showing off just how well off they really are. At number 3, Kim Kardashian. Up next, we've got to talk about the one and only Kim Kardashian. Kim, much like her sister Kylie, has her multiple businesses to thank for her riches. It has been reported that Kim has a net worth of about $1.4 billion. Kim has had many businesses over the years and has other ways of gaining lump sums of income, but by far her most valuable assets are her makeup brand KKW Beauty and her shapewear and loungewear brand Skims. KKW alone brings about $100 million of revenue per year and is valued at about $700 million. She recently sold a 20% stake in the KKW Beauty company to Coty, the same company that bought Kylie Cosmetics, but even though she doesn't own 100% of the company, only holding about 72% of the company, Kim still gets a pre-tax stake of $500 million. Skims, on the other hand, is worth a lot more than KKW Beauty and has an approximate valuation of about $1.6 billion, and though Kim only owns about 50 to 60% of the company, she still has a pre-tax stake of about $800 to $960 million. So to those who doubt how successful Kim really is, the success of her businesses really says it all. At number 2, Kanye West. Now we can't talk about Kim K without talking about her now ex-husband, kind of, Kanye West. Now Kanye's net worth is debated by some depending on what sources you look at. According to Forbes, the rapper's net worth is sitting around $1.6 billion, but another source clocks it in at $6.6 billion. Now I know that is a huge difference in numbers, but honestly, you don't have to think about it too hard because either way, he's freaking rich, so that's really all that matters here. Kanye's large net worth is thanks to a number of his assets, from his music catalog that's worth $110 million, to his real estate holdings worth $100 million, to his Yeezy brand that's worth $3 to $5 billion and generates over $1 billion in revenue. From all sources of income, Kanye brings in about $100 to $200 million annually, so again, he's super rich. What helps out the most when it comes to his earnings from his Yeezy brand is the fact that he owns 100% of the company, so everything that is earned goes completely to Kanye. So yeah, he is super rich, but I'm pretty sure we already knew that, just maybe not how rich. And finally, at number 1, George Lucas. According to sources, director, screenwriter, and producer George Lucas is the richest celebrity in the world with a net worth of around $10 billion. We all know him as the brains behind the Star Wars franchise, so it comes as no surprise to see just how much money this franchise has made him. Much like Kanye West, George owned 100% of the rights to Star Wars, so everything that the franchise made went back to him. However, in 2012, he sold Star Wars to Disney for $4 billion in cash and stock. This was a pretty good business decision since he not only made billions off that sale, but he's never sold a single Disney share, and with the company booming, he just keeps raking in the money. A very smart choice on his part.
Tom Holland and Zendaya are Hollywood's hottest new it couple, and it's been reported that the lovebirds are planning to move in together shortly. Since they're both megastars, we can assume they are living the rich life, and will be living in an insane mansion together. Let's break down how rich Tom Holland and Zendaya are. These two met in 2016 on the set of Spider-Man: Homecoming. Tom said in an interview that he and Zendaya were the best of friends, and he was taking her advice on how to deal with his newfound fame. Then in 2017, it was first rumored that the two were dating, but the pair denied it. Dating rumors were never confirmed until 2021, when paparazzi snapped photos of Tom and Zendaya making out in a car. And since they have been very open on social media about their relationship, there is no doubt they are a serious item. So serious they're actually moving in together. It's been reported that their home will be in London. It's a 6-bedroom mansion in Richmond, which Tom bought for £3 million last month. Tom already owns a flat in London, while Zendaya owns a home in Los Angeles. They're also planning to renovate their new home, having a current rental budget of £250,000. They'll be adding a gym, cinema, and a man cave, among other things. The Richmond property Tom bought for himself and his girlfriend is 4 miles away from Kingston upon Thames, where Tom's childhood home is. A source said about their move, quote, "Tom has spent quite some time making this house into his perfect home, and Zendaya has been visiting him in London, so let's see. They're Hollywood's hot young couple and don't want to be apart." According to Celebrity Net Worth, Tom Holland and Zendaya have net worths of $18 million and $15 million respectively. Let's break down how they make their money. Let's start with Zendaya. Zendaya has multiple properties that she's purchased with her fortune. Zendaya paid $1.4 million for a home in Northridge, California, and $4 million for a 5,000 square foot home in Encino, California. Zendaya first started acting on the Disney Channel when she was 14, getting a co-starring role on Shake It Up alongside Bella Thorne. She's also modeled since she was just a child. We have no way to estimate what she made from these roles, but former Disney stars have admitted that they didn't make much from the Disney Channel. Her main fortune came from the MCU. At 21, she landed the role of MJ in Spider-Man. According to Stylecaster, she made $2 million for Spider-Man: No Way Home. She had a small role in the movie Dune, but still made a pretty $300,000 payout from the role. She acted alongside Timothée Chalamet. Another one of her biggest projects has been acting as Rue in the hit HBO series Euphoria. Not only has it brought her tons of recognition and accolades, like winning her an Emmy, but she's reportedly earned a huge chunk of change from the movie. It was estimated that her net worth was only $5 million before joining the show. On top of acting, she's also produced movie Malcolm and Marie, in which she also starred, again earning her a handsome amount. Since we know Zendaya truly does it all, she's also released a book about style, something she does very well. The 2013 book is called Between You and Me: How to Rock Your Tween Years with Style and Confidence. She's also been the face of huge brands like Madonna's Material Girl clothing line, CoverGirl, Lancome, Valentino, Bulgari, and more. Zendaya also created her Daya shoe collection in 2015 and the Daya by Zendaya clothing line the following year. We don't have exact figures for all of these ventures, but it can be assumed that she's made well over a couple million for all of these combined. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Zendaya's net worth is an estimated $15 million as of 2022. This is thanks to over a decade of television and film appearances, along with multiple brand partnerships and sponsorship deals under her belt. Her net worth is $3 million less than Holland's, who is $18 million. Zendaya has opened up about money in the past, and it's a subject that she's a little uncomfortable with. In 2021, she spoke about the topic with British Vogue, admitting she talks about money in therapy, adding, quote, "The hope is to have a career where you can be in a position financially to just do things you want because you enjoy the work and not have to worry about the other things. But I'm always like, I will always need to work because if I don't work, everything can be gone tomorrow." She also admitted that even though she has enough money to buy whatever she wants, Zendaya struggles to spend money on herself, adding, quote, "My mother's a saver, so I try and keep that in mind. Then my dad's like, you know, you can't spend it when you're dead, kind of thing. So I'm somewhere in between." She even has so much anxiety around not making money that she waited until she was 23 years old to take her first vacation. Now moving on to Tom Holland, who's had a very successful career and has made a ton of money from it. Tom was discovered while in school. He was cast in Billy Eilish the musical after a choreographer for the musical thought he would be a great fit. He acted in a few more plays until 2012, when he made his on-screen debut in the movie The Impossible, co-starring Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor. 3 years later, he would get the role of a lifetime, getting cast as Peter Parker aka Spider-Man in 2015. He signed a 6-movie deal with Marvel. The first Marvel movie he appeared in was 2016's Captain America: Civil War, before his first solo film as Spider-Man in 2017's Spider-Man: Homecoming. In a GQ interview, the directors of the movie spoke about how they were blown away when they first saw Tom audition, telling the magazine, quote, "So Holland came in, he did his test. We called Sarah straight after and said, oh my god, he's incredible. He's a movie star. He's got the charisma, he's got the range." It's very rare someone walks into a room who has all the elements that make up a bona fide star. Now you're probably wondering how much he makes from helming a massive franchise like Spider-Man, and obviously it's a lot of money. So far he starred in 3 Marvel movies: 2017 Spider-Man: Homecoming, 2019 Spider-Man: Far From Home, and 2021's Spider-Man: No Way Home. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Holland made $500,000 for Spider-Man: Homecoming, the MCU's first Spider-Man movie, but he got a massive raise for his next movie, Spider-Man: Far From Home, which made him $4 to $5 million, with at least $1.5 million in bonuses based on the movie's performance, according to Celebrity Net Worth. The site also estimated that he made the same amount for his next movie, Spider-Man: No Way Home, and is set to have the same salary for future Spider-Man movies. Although we would assume he made much more in bonuses from No Way Home, as that movie was one of the most successful films of the entire year. Since Holland is a part of the MCU now, he also stars in other Marvel-related projects. But since he's not the star, he makes significantly less in these movies. He's been featured in 2016's Captain America: Civil War, 2018's Avengers: Infinity War, and 2019's Avengers: Endgame. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Holland made $250,000 from Captain America: Civil War, which was his first MCU as Spider-Man. The site also reported that Holland made $3 million each for Avengers: Infinity War and Avengers: Endgame, making $6 million in total for both movies, a huge jump from what he started with. Along with starring in MCU films, Holland also played the lead role in 2022 movie Uncharted. It's hard to know the exact figure that he made, but it's speculated that he makes between $5 to $10 million when he stars the lead in commercial studio movies like this one. It's also been reported that he makes between $2 to $5 million for independent movies and around $20 million for a streaming movie. These numbers got a significant bump from his debut as Spider-Man in 2017. Now these two are taking their combined net worth of $33 million and putting it towards their new home together. The home in southwest London is only 4 miles away from Holland's hometown and is situated near other massive stars like Angelina Jolie, Sarah Mick Jagger, and Venom star Tom Hardy. Security is apparently the couple's main concern, and they don't want intruders or paparazzi to be able to invade their privacy. Holland has been eyeing a high-tech security and an 8-foot steel security gate on the drive to protect himself and Zendaya. A source close to the couple said, quote, "They are over the moon about the property and getting their first home together. They are very much in love and wanted their first home to be in London where Tom grew up. Everyone is thrilled for them." Good luck to the happy couple, and hopefully if all goes well in living together, there may be an engagement in the future. Celebrity Net Worth reports that Pete's net worth is $8 million. Back in 2018 it was only $2 million, so there's been a massive spike in recent years. It's safe to say his fame after his Ariana Grande relationship made a huge difference. If he keeps going at this rate, he could be worth $32 million by 2025. Davidson is best known for his role in Saturday Night Live, but he's been doing stand-up since he was 16 years old. His earliest on-screen appearance was in Philosophy, an MTV comedy series. Then he was featured on some comedy TV reality shows, including a show called Gotham Comedy Live that showcased up-and-coming comedy talent in the area. Then he moved on to get a reoccurring role on TV show Brooklyn Nine-Nine before earning a coveted spot on the SNL cast in 2014. Pete got the audition through comedian Bill Hader, who he met when Pete filmed a small role in the 2015 movie Trainwreck. Pete first appeared on SNL during the 40th season at the age of 20, making him the youngest cast member of all time, as well as the first cast member to be born in the 90s. It seems that from the beginning he was a huge hit with fans. He was getting tons of praise in the media for being relatable and tackling serious subjects with his comedy. When the 44th season of Saturday Night Live ended, the Washington Post called Davidson SNL's breakout star and the most memorable performer that season, a huge accomplishment that I'm sure got him a sizable bonus. By now you're probably wondering how much he makes from being on SNL. He's been on the show since 2014, and Celebrity Net Worth reported that back in 2018, his salary was a generous $15,000 per episode. Each season has 21 episodes, making his salary for the entire year roughly $313,000, a nice chunk of change. But since starting that show, he has not only turned into an A-list star, he's become one of the most well-loved members of the cast. So it's not hard to think that he got a raise during this time. It's been reported that top stars at SNL can make up to $25,000 per episode, which would be $500,000 a year. So it's not hard to believe that he might have gotten a raise at one point. And of course, since he's now on SNL, other doors have opened for him in traditional media, including a few movie roles. We know he had small parts in Trainwreck, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Netflix's Set It Up before making it big on SNL. He probably didn't make a ton from this, but I'm sure it was a decent amount. Since those small parts, he's gotten much bigger roles in movies like The Squad and King of Staten Island, which he was not only the main star of, the movie was also based on his life and upbringing in Staten Island. Because the movie was somewhat biographical, Pete wrote the script for the movie and collaborated a lot with Apatow to make the final product. Pete created the movie, which was about a 24-year-old high school dropout and an aspiring tattoo artist who tries to get his life together. Since the movie was based on his life and he had a huge part not only in creating it, but starring in it, we can assume he made a lot of money from the project. Although that was sadly not the case, and the movie bombed at the box office, only making $2.2 million out of its $35 million budget, despite its positive reviews from the critics. Pete also has a comedy stand-up special on Netflix called Pete Davidson: Alive from New York. On top of that, he's had a bunch of big projects coming up, including Meet Cute and The Things They Carried. It's impossible to know what exactly he got paid for these roles, but we can assume it's in the millions. Since Pete joined megastars like Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, and John Cena in DC's Squad, we can assume he made a lot of money, even for his small role. When asked about the role on Jimmy Fallon, Davidson said, quote, "I love superhero movies and I'm a huge James Gunn fan. Then I got a call from James Gunn. He was like, there's this role for you in the movie and you play a guy named Richard Hertz. I was like, dude, that's the greatest. That's so awesome. And yeah, he was nice enough to let me be in it, and it's a thing I still can't believe." Now that Pete is a household name, he's also getting brand deals and sponsorship deals with large companies. Most notably, he was in a commercial for Smart Water. The commercial featured Pete at a tattoo removal clinic. When a technician starts working on his arm, we see the bottle of Smart Water, and Pete says, quote, "I've made a lot of questionable choices, and a couple of them need removing." He says that being dehydrated was most likely not the reason he made these questionable choices, but he said he is now trying to make smarter choices by hydrating with Smart Water. During the commercial, he reflects on other questionable moments from his past, including living in his mom's basement until his late 20s, to hoverboarding rather than walking through a fine dining restaurant. This commercial took inspiration from his real life, as he said during an interview with Seth Meyers that he had to get many of his over 40 tattoos removed. Again, we don't know exactly how much money he made from this, but I would assume it's over $1 million. Pete also did a sponsorship deal with Calvin Klein, adding to his fortune. Pete and the brand agreed for Davidson to take over Calvin Klein's Instagram account and do whatever that he wanted with it. Davidson first changed the brand's profile picture to feature a photo of him, of course. Then Pete's best friend, MGK, joined Pete for a live stream on the brand's account. Both men were wearing Calvin Klein clothing as well as undergarments, which the men showed as they stripped down for one portion of the live. The pair put on a mock photo shoot where they were showing off the brand's loungewear and undergarments. In one part of this photo shoot, Davidson knelt on the couch with his mouth open as MGK rained popcorn down on him from above. Because of how embarrassing and meme-worthy that live was, I hope he got paid a lot for it. Another part of Davidson's wealth is the money he makes from putting on traditional stand-up shows. He even did a full tour in 2016 called Pete Davidson SMD, and I'm sure that he will be embarking on some other tours once the SNL season is done and he's able to freely travel. I assume he only made a small amount back in the day, but at this point he could probably sell out a huge stadium if he tried. The last piece of his net worth are the homes and investment properties that Pete has gained over the years. He currently has 2 homes in his native Staten Island, New York. Back in 2016, Pete reportedly bought his mom a $1.3 million house in his home borough, and in December of 2020, he bought himself a $1.2 million condo a few blocks from his mom's place. The fact that he is still set on living near his mother and taking care of her is just the cutest thing I have ever heard. So what's next for Pete Davidson? We know that he has a ton of projects in the works, and we can assume his affiliation with Kim Kardashian is only going to make him more sought after for money-making opportunities. He might even be featured in the Kardashians' new Hulu show simply called The Kardashians. Not sure if he would make any money from that, but either way it would bolster his celebrity status even more. Another interesting adventure on his horizon is taking off on Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin ship. On Monday, March 14, 2022, it was announced that the comedian will be one of the 6-member crew for the 20th launch of the rocket on March 23rd of 2022. I'm not sure if he had to pay for that honor, but if he did, I'm sure it was a lot of money.